I forgot it. There you go. Can't do anything without the lipstick, right? Oh, this smoke is horrendous that we have here in Calgary. I look out my window and it's yellow. Everything is yellow. Um, I just hope we get some rain soon to combat this weather. So let's see what's happening. Don't miss out. Not sure. Pretty crazy with the weather right now and what's going on. I'm just pulling up some information here. I'm pulling up what is going on. Let's see. Whoops. Let's do this. Ooh. Hello. Welcome. Hello. Welcome. We're going to get into some craziness. And some talks of right now of what's going on and what's happening in and around, out and about at this time. And the astrology. If you didn't catch the Leo King live, some of you may not like him because he's kind of crass and he's double Leo with the Taurus moon. So he can be a little bit, he can be a lot. But anyways, he did a live. Yes, it's 3 hours. And if you are interested, you can watch his live. I follow him. I've been following the Leo King since, how long have I been following? Since before 2017. I think before 2017, I know I was following him. I was following him. Oopsie. There we go. With some of his new back, I mean, he didn't even have a studio. Like he was doing stuff on the beach and everything else and filming. Very young man at that time. He's like 42 now. I think it was his birthday yesterday. So anyways, he did his live. Gives you some insights on what's going on. Some of the things he will say on there, it is a shocker for a lot of people, especially if you haven't been following him for a while, and especially if you haven't gone down the different rabbit holes with him to understand how everything is being played out at this time. And it is an interesting how everything is being played out in the world right now. I agree with him about some of these astrologers that go on a bandwagon and then they repeat what all the other astrologers are saying. Especially when, the whole thing about he talks about the basket and everything and the Bado basket and stuff. I didn't even know who the astrologer was, to tell you the truth, until I heard a whole bunch of astrologers talking about it. And then I wanted to know about it. And I'm just like, one, and thing is like, never has there ever been an aspect named after an astrologer. I mean, if they're going to write any aspects after an astrologer, they should go back to Nostradamus or John Dee. I mean, those guys have predicted a lot. They've talked about a lot and about the different aspects. But that's our day and age. Our day and age is to take the news and just chew it out, chew the information out, and throw it back to people. And that's what happens. And then you get somebody who got a lot of views, and then that's the person you want to copy, and then they copy and paste that. I mean, sometimes if I want a lot of views, I certainly would not. I mean, especially with the Leo King, because he's a very controversial astrologer. And he sometimes does not get the thumbs up from the astrology community. And that's probably why I like him, because I'm not a person who always went for mainstream stuff and looking at mainstream information. What is happening, and we're going to talk a little bit strategically what's going on and how things are being placed right now. Right now, we're entering into World War III. I know some people have said, yeah, well, we've been in it. Well, not fully. All the pieces and all the chess players are being set up. Everything has been set up. From the speech from the king coming to talk to Congress. That is just part of it. The king opening parliament in Canada. These are all pawns. These are all pieces on a chessboard that is being played out. These pieces are where you get mainstream media or a meme come up, and they will just take sort of a highlight reel and then regurgitate something so that it is now going to be the narrative that everybody's going to say. And that's what you got to watch, because that's propaganda. So you're going to start seeing a lot of propaganda come out with what just happened in the United States. And you got to take a step back. What's going on there? Yeah, there was a deal made. There's a defense fund that's coming. This is all setting up and propping up what is going to be happening, especially over in the Middle East, fighting over something that is basically worthless. But everybody wants a piece, or everybody wants this entryway into what they believe, or what a belief is, that they will be in a higher power, in a higher, like the kingdom. And that's where you see a lot of these chess players are. And you got to go back to the Bible about Israel, the Israeli people, the chosen ones, and everything else like that. But there's an underlying current that, if you don't understand that, of what's going on, there is, when you go through everything, or you go through a lot of biblical texts and even old texts or the Gnostic Bible, you start to learn that Jesus came to change the way, and to change the way of letting you know that you are the power. You are the power. But because power, if you tell people that they are the power, then the people who want the power don't have the power, right? This, what is unfolding at this time, is not going to end anytime soon. The one reason being is inflation, the price of oil at this time. This is starting up to be the holy war. The holy war is going to escalate. The escalation is going to bring in China, of course. China's going to come in, and that's going to escalate what's going to happen over in Taiwan. All of this is going to happen within the next 6 months. We're also going to be seeing a dismantling or a crumbling down of the political systems. And we're sort of seeing that right now. So things are going to start changing. And because things are happening within the outer planet, it's not going to be a dramatic, fast change, right? And between Asia and the West, it's China, because when you say Asia, you're bringing in India, you're bringing in Japan and stuff. So we're looking at China. China's the one that they have. And China's having a debt issue as well. China doesn't have the amount of people that they say they have. So they're having their issues as well over there. And as much as they want to, here we are, we're all clean in that. Well, I wouldn't really want to step out of line if I was living in China under their government, because people disappear all the time, but it's not talked about, right? China's also set up a Operation Drone in Cuba. And that has very much like the Bay of Pigs, the Cuban Missile Crisis. The prime minister that's coming in, which is very interesting, he's in alignment with very much of the timing of when Winston Churchill came in. He's a funny guy. He will lean and sway to whatever blows in the wind. The thing is that he was a person that people wouldn't have chosen right away. Neither was Winston Churchill. He was the last person that anybody would have chosen, because he wasn't the one who was known as the leader, or known as the person to come up and take charge. So We have a very similar effect that's happening in the UK right now. So we'll see how that's going to unfold. Is with everything and how things are going to get set up. Right down to Carney. Carney's getting a huge backlash. He's not going into parliament. He's not going on the floor or going into question period, which is huge because he'll be in his office. He goes around and flies around everywhere around the world, but he does not come and talk to the Canadian people, or the representatives. So that's coming in as a backlash. And people are like, holy shit, well, he's really not doing anything for us. He hired an American to come to be his to help him to negotiate with the United States. And then you got Ford who's blabbing off his big freaking mouth, which isn't helping matters either. Because Ford is, I mean, what he said the other day, he says, well, we have the potash and we have the oil. Well, the people who have the potash and the oil are Saskatchewan, Alberta. Ontario doesn't have anything. They might have some oil, but they don't have the drilling and everything that Alberta have, and they don't have the potash. I had to think about that when he said that, and I was just like, "What the fuck? Like, you don't have that. Like, shut your mouth." So things are getting set up. Tensions are building. We are going to start seeing, especially when we have when things, everybody will look at the stock market. The stock market will continue to be propped up because that's going to be the last thing to really drop. And because there's two things that are propping it up, and that's the COVID bubble and the AI business. And those are the two things that are really popping it up. The COVID bubble is the bad debt. People spending money they don't have. People going out and buying new cars, buying the latest whatever without having actual money to do it or having that backing to do it. They're doing it all on debt. And that's a huge one. So we have a huge crisis when we have loads of people, and I could just walk down my street and I can tell you that I don't know how these young people are affording these townhouses, honestly, and driving Lexus and Mercedes Benz and Audis. And these aren't cheap vehicles, these are very expensive vehicles. And paying $1.3 million for a townhouse. That's about the average price for a townhouse on our street. So you're wondering because there's a debt load there. Because it is, you get your credit upon how much debt you have, so debt credit. And if people are not wise with their money, they're going to be in big trouble, especially within the next 6 months. If you are not and paying off your debt, paying off the things that you need to pay off, and you are taking out loans on, like right now we're looking for a used vehicle. Probably won't get one till sometime in August, but we're looking. And for used vehicles, like I do not want to pay $22,000 on a fucking used vehicle or $15,000. I mean, yeah, and some of these vehicles that are like 22,000, they're like what, 6-year-old cars or something like that, or 8-year-old cars. And you have to be careful, of course, right? You have to watch and do all your thing that you have to do to go look for it. The problem is, now I'm will be, pray to God, hopefully, cross my fingers sometime soon, hopefully be in a position that hopefully I can get a vehicle. Just crossing my fingers, we'll see what happens. But I'm not going to go into debt for that. Right? And I want something that's reliable. I want something that's not going to die on me, because this isn't a vehicle, like say I can't there are cars out there for $8,000 and $4,000, and I know there are, but I want something that's really reliable. Like I don't want something that I can put that money into it, but then I don't want something that I'm going to have to fix. I'm I don't As a young man, he can still work. He still has his he's still able to go out and get a job to pay for his debt, pay for whatever it else. You know, anyways, looking at that, but also looking that I'm glad he bought something at that price. I hope he didn't finance it. I hope he paid cash for it. Because the financing means that if he did finance it, that $8,000 vehicle is probably going to be worth, he's probably going to pay what, 16,000 for it at the end of the day, especially if you finance it over several years. And so that's the whole thing. That's where we're at when it comes to the financials and where the financials are. A lot of people of you know, if you've put money in, I don't know any of us did, but you know, the SpaceX or the Meta and all of these junk bonds, because the other bubble is the AI and it's built on nothing. The AI bubble right now, it's going to burst. It's kind of like the dot com, and it's going to take where, and that doesn't mean AI is going away. It's like dot com didn't go away, right? The internet didn't go away, but it caused a a rebalancing, a relook at where people were just all hyped up about it, and then it fell. I wish I would have bought Amazon stocks at that time because they were dirt cheap. And when he came out with the Amazon, he bought it in cash. Yes, good boy. Good boy. He managed to find a car that was taken care of. And oh, right on. Congratulations to him. That is awesome. That is awesome. That is oh, that makes my heart sing when I hear something like that. That is so right on. Love it. I love it. I love when I hear something like that because that's smart. That's exactly what he should do, right? And then he knows that's his. So this is where I find, especially understanding the finances, the credit wealth of debt, the credit line and delay. It's watching and seeing people that are just getting in debt. The big house sold behind us. I'm not sure how much it sold for, but if a townhouse goes for 1.3, that's probably going for like 3 million or so. It's like 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 3-car garage. It's a huge house. I think it's 6,000 square feet. Um, so it's, you know, whoever bought it, and I have a kind of have an inkling what people bought it. But anyways, we'll see. I haven't seen anybody move in yet. This is where we have to sort of watch and actually have cash on hand and making sure that you have some kind of cash on hand. Cash is going to be king, especially after the 6 months. Now, the other thing is that Mercury has gone forward. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Yes. Um, being retrograde in Cancer has really caused like a lot of emotions coming up with that energy. We do have Saturn coming in, and the nodes are changing. We're heading into a full moon solar eclipse that is going to be or lunar eclipse that is going to be happening next month. So the Leo one, the Leo will be in Leo. So we have that energy that's coming in for the eclipses that are coming forward. So we have a lot of energy that's coming in, and that's really going to be playing a little bit of havoc, not only on our emotions, on going forward. With that, this is where a lot of people are going to be feeling very out of sorts, feeling, you know, what the fuck's going on, getting where I'm hearing, especially from my friends down in the States, they're hearing a lot more about this, about the war and the war amping up. Now, when I get talking to a few friends, you know, my that I took art classes with in California, I love them. The little goddesses, they're talking about war. They're very nervous about it. And a couple of them are people who don't talk about these things, who are not really like, never really gave it much a thought, but they're feeling it. They're feeling the things getting wrapped up. Um, and people are getting let go at work. Nervous, I'm going to hear something today. Yeah, people cutbacks, a lot of cutbacks. And there's also where, you know, crazy thing, I think it's in New York at a high school. They made an AI teacher assistant. Looks female. The name is Sally. Um, has eye movements and stuff. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like a plastic Barbie kind of thing. Very weird, but it's yeah, quite interesting to see that. So there's some really crazy innovations and things that are happening and that are coming out at this time. And the whole thing is that with it, with the energies that are coming out. Also, I wanted to address the Saturn retrograde because of what some astrologers are saying. Ooh, this is, you better have your, this is going to be bad karma on people and stuff. Astrologers don't say that. Like true astrologers, they don't say, oh, you can get bad karma. Karma is yours, right? Whatever it is, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. It's yours. And if you're wishing bad karma on somebody else, I know we all do. I know sometimes we're like, look at that, dude, you got your karma, you know. But when you're saying that, especially with Saturn in Aries, Saturn in Aries is about your responsibility on your life, what you're doing, how you're reacting, how you're putting the energies forward. That's what Saturn is. And when Saturn goes retrograde, it gets you to look at what is it that you need to pay more responsibility into your life and address. And the thing is that when you start looking at other people and start saying, oh, I want bad karma on them, this is where it's going to come up. And it's like bait. This is bait. This is clickbait, and the bad karma could, could come back on them. They're thinking their ex is going, this is going to happen to their ex and blah, blah, blah. Well, the next thing you know, when Saturn goes forward, their ex meets the person of their life and everything starts working out for them. And then their life starts falling apart. So yeah, you just don't go around doing that. you know Also, if you're wanting to be on the higher spiritual plane and work with the energies of with the higher planes of energy. So I find that with everything that's going on right now, it feels rough. There's a lot going on, and I have to know, like, I have to say, even for ourselves, we're kind of in a space where for me, no, I'm not going back to a muggle job. I won't. I can't. My body just can't do it. I mentally cannot do it. I think I actually probably would have a mental breakdown if I had to go back and deal with young muggle people. just, I personally, I don't think I could do it. No, my nervous system could not handle that. Um, at this time. And since January, I have found that my nervous system and my energies have really switched. A lot of energies have really switched within me. And, you know, going back it would be very, very difficult for me. And especially at 62. If I was 10 years younger, probably I would. Probably I would, even if I was 5 years younger. But it's funny, 62 is a weird age. Just saying out there, 62 is a weird age. Um, it is the official raisin club. Things shrivel that you never thought would shrivel. Um, but it is different, right? At 52, uh, definitely I would have been back out there and doing things, right? No, don't say that. I want a rainbow and butterflies. Well, we'll give you the rainbow and butterflies. Um, but 62, it's a mentality things. You start thinking differently. You start to I know the perimenopause people out there all like, "Well, I give it a fuck you," and blah, blah, blah. It's so different when you get into your 60s because it's not just a fuck you. I don't even have to, like, no. Like, when I see a lot of the craziness that's going on in the world, and I am witnessing a lot of this unrest when it comes to the governments, when it comes to, um, the war. when it comes to religion. And, so many people are going back to religion, and I'm just like, um, things shrinking and things drooping. Um, it's where I have to go back to the powers within you, right? And a lot of what has been said, or what they say is like really not, right? And and especially when it comes to the angelic realm, when it comes to many other different realms, it's just like, okay, there's something there that isn't as bright. But it's a hard subject to talk about, because you have a lot of, especially within the spiritual community, that they're angel people. Um they work in the angelic realm, and they work, in this energy. And that's fine. I mean, that's probably why I always go to tarot. I've never been an angel person. I tried. It just didn't align with me. Being an astrologer, being a tarot reader was more of an alignment for me, because it understood everything to come in with truth, and what aligned with truth, and what aligned with the planets. Going back to the basket that's happening, you know, in the beautiful heavens, is every time that basket has happened, going back in history, going back to World War II, even, again, back again, is every time there's been war, there's been great things that have happened during that time. There's communities that have grown out of that, out of those times. But it was a huge time of transformation and change that was happening within the world, and how things started to really move politically. The unrest that is rising, within our world, we're seeing how much craziness that is taking place at this time. And especially if you go like Ontario. I mean, I'm sorry, the amount of immigrants that have come into Canada, come into the United States and UK and other places, is horrible, right? Should I send my person? I don't know if New Zealand is going to be any better. You know, I mean, Australia got the nuclear subs right now. The United States has put the nuclear subs over into Australia, and in around the Australia waters. So, and that's because they're very close to China. I can hide him on the land. Just hide him in the bushes, you know. Um, I think where we are right now, I think that that's your best place. I wouldn't want to go to Europe right now, with the unrest that is going to be rising in Europe, and hearing more and more people speaking out about national identity, and what the national identity is, and the backlash with that. That's all part of this energy. It's all this shifting energy that is getting people to look, and to really, look at their own identity, look at, of understanding that not everybody can live with everybody else. That's the other part. Not everything is a kumbaya. Not everything's going to be a kumbaya. Just saying, right? There is going to be a lot of crazy energies that are going to come in. And I mean, within one of my predictions, I said the big one's probably going to go off within the next 6 months. I don't know when. I know it's going to be soon. But I feel like there's that, and that's going to be a real trigger for everything else to start to escalate. The key to this is allowing yourself to throw the dice and go. One of the reasons I started the letters from Mama G is getting back to that serenity, getting back to that place. I mean, this certainly is not a get rich scheme to do. Um, where I've had to take little bits of money and like, oh, I got to buy envelopes, or my next thing is like I can't afford to buy stamps until next Wednesday, or I can't afford to do certain things so I can send out things. But even writing, doing the cards, and I did a little art thingy on it. Um, I don't have a laminator, so I Mod Podged my tarot card I made, and my first tarot card's the Fool. So I created my little Mod Podge of so it looks pretty. Um, so this is where, in doing something, sometimes you just have to throw the dice and just go for it. I mean, all my avenues for a lot of things, it's like it's there. I do readings still. I still do the moon readings. I'm going to be sending out uh the reading for Wednesday on Sunday. So I'm still doing full moon, new moon readings. If anybody wants to get one, definitely DM me. They're $60. If my mini readings for the summer are still there. So I'm still doing readings. It's just getting, people want to book in, got to pay the 65. I mean, it's a great help. That's my reliance. That's my business. I want to branch out. I want to go further. I do have a market coming up. Um, I have to go look that up. I have it coming up in August. And so I have a market coming up in August, and doing little markets. And I really want to do markets in coming up into the winter time, because I want to sell. I want to sell some cute things. How is Canada going to fight in a war? The pivot was identity, and we no longer have strong people. Well, that's a good question. That's a really good question. Whether I mean, in going to war, it doesn't matter. People are going to get pulled into it. Hence the reason why you have all the freaking immigrants, and recruiting them. So that's the whole thing. They want to become Canadians. Same thing. That's what they did in the United States. Is that if you joined the army, or you joined whatever, well, the army and the Air Force used to be one. If you join it, then you can get your citizenship if you return. So that's the other thing too. Plus, a lot of the war is fought. This war is fought by AI. It's fought by drones, and that too. So we have that's going to happen. So it'll be interesting, the play out of everything. Or is this going to be like Germany, where they force you? Probably. I mean, young people will probably get forced in some way. It's part of the history of, because we are in that history right now, and history does repeat itself. We are in the history where they will come and recruit you. We are in a history where they will, the scientific experiments. I mean, we just had one. And now all this information is now coming out of all the younger people who got the COVID shot, right? And especially the young people. I mean, that was the biggest experiment ever. I can't Why can't liberals see that Mark is buying? Because they don't care, because they're getting paid. I mean, anybody who crossed the aisle, I mean, look at what the woman from Inuvik, whatever it's called, place where nobody wants to live. Um, I mean, she got billions of dollars. She owns the company that he invested in, that the government invested in. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, right? Um, I mean, Mark Carney's kids don't even go to school here. He sent his daughter, or whatever, I don't know if it was a daughter or son, to go to England or whatever for trans operation and some kind of bullshit. think they're their own ecosystem and completely compromised. Ah, definitely. Definitely. And the thing is that the only thing that's propping a lot of things up right now too, or they're wanting to continue to prop up, and that's because of the baby boomers. The baby boomers right now own a huge portion, not only of homes, but investments, right? So once they die off, which is, I'm sort of the in between. I'm a 63, so I'm an in between of the Gen Xers and the baby boomers. So once the baby boomers, and that's probably anybody from 61 down, right? That have a house, that have investments, that as soon as they die, who's ever inheriting their house, who's ever inheriting won't be able to afford it. They won't be able to afford the homes because of the land tax, and they won't be able to continue on. So if the baby boomers haven't liquidated already and left Canada and went to a warmer climate, uh, that's going to be a huge taxation on whoever inherits that, especially if they don't set it up in a proper way that it can just roll over to whoever, and then everybody gets a payout, right? If they're waiting until like they're if they are in their 70s and 80s and still own their house, whoever inherits that house will have to pay a hell of a lot of money. If even, so that's the other thing too. So then what happens to that? So a lot is going to uh these lovely baby boomers when they die, which they will be starting to die off within the next, well, 20 years or so, maybe 70, 80, 90. My brother's 70 something, 75. So average age, what, in their 80s, if they live to be in their 90s, right? So that'll be interesting when you see all that. Anybody who's a Pluto Libra probably will not, you will not get CPP or OAS. It won't be there, even though you're paying into it. So most of you here are Pluto Libras. There's a couple maybe Pluto Scorpios, but I would say make sure you have a retirement investment. If you don't have a retirement investment right now, or having some form of investment for your retirement, you're going to be fucked, because you won't have that cushion, even though they're saying there is a cushion. So Pluto Virgos are going to be maybe the last one, depending where you are on the lineup with the Pluto Virgo. So if you're a Pluto Virgo, depending where you are, I'm a Pluto Virgo, but I'm an early one. So I'm a 63, right? So the thing is that will my investment, I am 70, you're 70? What? So, but the other, Charlotte, you're in a whole different, anyways, you're a whole different ball game. Born in the 70s. Oh, born in the 70s. So you also have a person who's a Pluto Scorpio, right? So this is what people have to look at. How much longer do you have to work? Right? That rule 72. You have to look it up. I can't explain it. And you got to look up how long that person has to work. If that person has so many years to work, so if you're 37, retirement age is 65, how many years do you have till, to work? That person has a long time to work. In that time, they have enough time to create, right? Right? They have they have that time to still invest. and create abundance, whether that's in a GIC, whether that's in some form of investment, whether they're waiting. And because once the stock market crashes, that's when you start to move in, and that's when you start to buy up stocks and start to buy up dividends and things like that. If you're not doing that, and this is where my mistake was when I was young, if you're not doing that, if you're not putting money away, and I don't know how much I can stress this, even at 50, if you're not putting money away for that, you're going to be fucked. That's the long and that's the way, the long and the short. In the United States, they're looking at maybe another maybe 5 years or so, 8 years for it, you know, but we'll see. All of these things that have been paid into is basically a pyramid scheme, right? Not every you pay into EI, are you guaranteed to get EI? No, you're not. Right? Only certain people get EI, and you might only get it for a certain time, even though you might have paid into it for your whole life. And then finally, something happens in that you end up having, you lost your job and you only get it for 17 weeks or 32 weeks, right? And you're like, well, what the hell? I've been paying this in for all my life. That's why, going back to the COVID bubble, the bad debt. How many people, especially young millennials, have bad debt? Have gone out, bought the car, like the young people on our street, they're young millennials. Maybe there's a few Gen Xers that are there that have gone in and gotten themselves into crazy debt. That's the thing. And the bubble for the housing market, it's going to start crashing. Because I notice houses don't sell as fast. Like the for sale signs are up for a longer time when places are built, and then they put the for sale sign up. It takes them longer to sell. Things aren't turning over as fast as what they used to, right? If you are in debt, right? Right? And congratulations on, that's not easy to get if you are out of debt, then whatever you can, I would start either having cash, like, making sure that you're investing in gold and silver. And I'm not a financial advisor, but looking at other places to put your financials in, right? So you have it. Cynthia, I got to say, she's not on here, but I'm going to blow to her. She's done some very smart moves, right? And sometimes it's been very hard not to touch what she has created, but she's also done some other very smart strategic moves. And I'm going to say, if you are able to get property, say vacation property, go for it. My niece called me a few years ago and they were looking at some vacation property, and she goes, I don't know if we can afford it. I said, you can't afford not to. I said, you're going to kick yourself. And this was, I think, before COVID, with that. So she ended up, oh, thanks, love. He's sleeping.
Yeah,
Oh, fuck, Steve. Ugh.
What?
When you gave it to me, it slipped right off. So anyways, it just went flying. I need a napkin. But anyways, so if you're able to get like a vacation property or a separate property, that will be a benefit for you, right? Where is she? She has some blue chip stocks. She also invests in thanks, hon.
Man, I don't want to leave this or there, leave it on the stool.
Yeah. Yeah, the dog will eat it. We'd have to change this after. She's been very smart in what she's been investing in. She also pays a financial person to help her, which has been a benefit for her to do it. But it's been one of those things where she also took some, and I mean, yeah, she's just done some really smart moves. and a vacation property where the thing is that vacation property can be just a piece of land where you put a trailer on, right? You find there's a lot, especially out in different parts of Alberta, of different places that you can do that, and you can get something that's very nice. I'm not talking about going out and buying yourself a chalet. I mean, if you want, if you can afford that, cool. Or just something that's very simple and humbling, and that could be a backup plan for you. Like if you want to get the fuck out of Dodge, and you can put your trailer out there. That if you're able to do that, if you're able to do that, that's not saying that, oh, let me go do that now. If you're in debt right now, work on your debt. Get rid of your fucking debt. If you're in a car payment that's too high, or if you're in something that's too high, or if you got assets that are laying around, and this is what you got to watch when you watch the rich people. They're selling off their fucking assets. They're selling off their third and fourth homes, right? They're selling off, oh, well, I have these X amount of cars. I don't use these cars. This is why, you see some of these very wealthy people have a lot of vehicles. They sell them off. People complain that Elon Musk is a very wealthy man. He's so rich. Why is it? Well, he's earned his money, right? He's invested his money. But the thing is that a few years ago, he sold off all his houses. He doesn't have a lot of properties, right? He just said, why am I investing in things that I keep on renovating that I don't live in? So he might have a property and something else, and that's all he utilizes. So that's the whole thing, is like, it's people have to start getting smart with what they're doing, right? If you can't afford to stock up, if you can't afford to get a Berkey water system, then don't get the Berkey water system. Get a Brita, right? Don't start freaking out. You live in fucking Canada. You're going to be okay. Yeah, there's shit in our water, but our water, at least we can fucking drink it. We're not like we're in the middle of Africa or somewhere else. Our water system isn't bad. Our water system is good, right? You can complain about everything else or whatever it else. If you can't afford that, don't get it. If you can't afford a solar generator, don't fucking go out of the way to get one. You're going to be fine right now. That's the whole thing. Focus on what you can do right now in your world to create your abundance. I mean, and sometimes it's going to be freaking hard. Me not going back to work is fucking hard, right? Do I want to go out and break my back? I can't even, like, sometimes it's very difficult for me to stand for long periods of time without my back. I'm stretching, I'm doing all the yoga thingies all the time. But that's the whole thing. It's like trusting in the next move, trusting in what's going to happen. And sometimes you don't know. We don't know what the next crap move or the next crazy move that's going to happen. We can watch all these highlight reels, but that's all they are. Right? You can listen, and you got to understand that a lot of people like Tucker and Candace and all of those people, they're fucking paid off by somebody else. You may not believe it, but they are. And they're very well set up. So at the end of the day, anything happens. Tucker Carlson is a fucking millionaire. He's almost a billionaire. Same with Candace Owens, right? They've built their little empires. Tucker's somewhere way out in the fucking boonies, that's for sure. So these guys have built their, what they have. This is where it's like, look at what you need to do for you. Look around your reality instead. Right, exactly. And that's what you got to do. That's where this energy's at. Hence, I started Letters from Mama G, $12 a month. Why did I start it? Because I wanted to form a community. I wanted to get one letter at a time and do some snail mail. How many people? I think 10 people. That's 10 people I didn't have before. And it's a celebration. but it's moving towards something different. It's moving me towards something else, right? I do readings, I do the moon readings, but they're not bringing me an income, right? I can have a sale and nobody buys it. Truth. I can have a workshop and nobody signs up, right? That's what happens. So I had to look in and I had to start looking, okay, God, divine, pull me towards what's going to bring towards me, not so much for me to be a multimillionaire. God, if that happened, I'd be calling a few of you guys to be on my my payroll to help me to pack envelopes. But but to create something to allow people to come back. And that's where a lot of this energy is. Coming back to home, coming back to basics. Not everything, and that's the premise, that's the reason why I'm doing it. I'm not an artist to sell my art. I'm a spiritualist that wants to bring spirituality to you in an envelope. That's what I want to do. I want to bring you a little substance, a little pick me up, a little time for you to have a cup of tea and take a time out and bring you some little bit of insight in the world around you in a letter. That's what the letters from Mama G are. It's not a writing community, it's not a book community. I might suggest a few books that I think are cool to read, um, but it's mainly bringing in stickers and bookmarks and little pieces of art that I doodle, and recipes from my husband, and a playlist from my son. Something simple. That's the whole premise. That's the whole thing. It Roll the dice and see what happens. It's a crapshoot, right? It may work, it may not work. If it doesn't work, well, then you know it doesn't work and you can move on. Try something else, go into another direction. That's where this energy is. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be fucking hard. Right? There's going to be days that things don't seem like they're going to work the way that you would like them to work. And that's the big thing. I mean, right now, if things work out, for the crossing my fingers that everything comes, works out the way I would like it, but it doesn't look like till maybe August. And so between now and August, we're basically living off of very little amount of money to buy groceries, to pay our rent, to keep the cable on, to keep the lights. Hence the reason I do the things I do. But that's the truth, right? It's not to give people, the Debbie Downer thing, but it's to let you know where I'm coming from and let you know what's going on. You should do a fire tarot read. I've done those. Nobody comes. Nobody comes. I've done them. I've done those things. Right? I have. I've promoted those things. I've gone on Instagram. I've gone and I've done them and nobody shows up. That's the thing. It's like, 20-minute reading for $65. Yeah, I've done it. I've done it. But TikTok, how are you going to get the money from TikTok, right? And the thing is, I've done those things. And that's the whole thing. It's like I've done them. They're great ideas. I can go out there and I can say, hey, I'm going to do moon readings, blah, blah, blah. And I sit there and I'm talking to myself. I think they are. The thing, these are wonderful ideas. Thank you very much, everybody. But just to let you know, what you're suggesting isn't something I haven't done. It's something that I've done. There's things I've done, auctions. I've done where I've gone on and let's do readings, $10 readings, e-transfer, have a little thing for people to sign up on. Done that. Right? And putting it out there. But if you don't get the people to respond, for my energy, right? If I'm not getting the response and I continue to do it, it's not worth my time. Like I get very sick. Like, in doing it. That's the whole thing, right? So, and even on TikTok, I've been on TikTok and I've done those little readings, and come in for $10 readings or $5 readings. It's like two people show up, but they're there for a free reading. I'm not going to give you like this is like a $10 reading. Even though it looks like I got a lot of subscribers, half those subscribers or half those people that are coming in on my TikTok are people living in their fucking basement, um that are following me. So those are things that so the thing is, that's why I went to my snail mail, right? And doing my snail mail. And the snail mail, yeah, I got a response to it. See, the thing is that being a projector, you do your thing and you continue on your thing, but if you're not getting it's it it's not like a manifester who'll just like vroom, or a generator, vroom, they'll just continue on. Totally different totally, it's hard to explain. It's totally different energies, right? For somebody. It's not that I'm complaining, it's just trying to explain. And I have two manifestor generators, like boom, do this like that, right? They're like boom, 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 boom. And for me, it's like, whoa, that's wonderful, right? Do it this way. And you're just like, hey, hang on. It's not like I haven't. Those are great suggestions, right? But I have to also look at my energy in doing that. And especially if I look on TikTok and stuff like that. And if I like when I went on Periscope, when I did Periscope and I started doing Periscope, I got responses like this. Periscope was absolutely fabulous. And when I got the responses from Periscope, it allowed me to come on and do the readings and do these types of things. And the energy was there. When you go on TikTok, it was, you go on TikTok and you say, oh, okay, I'm going to do readings, link is in the bio, sign up, e-transfer, I see the e-transfer come through, then I can do Sally J or Jen B or whoever it is, I can do your reading. But when they don't, right? Maybe advertise a week then. But Charlene, I've done all of those things. The thing is that you guys I've done that. I've done where every Thursday I've done readings on Instagram, and $10 readings, $10 readings on Instagram, $10 readings on, say on TikTok, right? Now, I don't have the energy for it, Charlene. I don't have the energy. That's the whole thing. Like, not that I'm trying to get it. It's just you guys have wonderful suggestions, but you got to understand, I'm not your energy. Like, oh, I'm going to go try it again. My energy is like, I've tried that. Why am I trying it again to sit there and nobody shows up? Right? I got 2,000 followers on Instagram, 2,000 followers on TikTok, and only a portion show up. I do my Sunday reset. On average, when I do the reset on Sunday at 11, I changed it to 11 o'clock a few weeks ago. I maybe have one person shows up on average, right? But I show up, I still do it, because I do love doing the Sunday reset. But that's the whole thing, is like, how much more do you want to put your energy out when you're not getting anything back? So you have to sort of come back and realign and say, where do I want to put my energy? Right? Well, it's a projector way, right? A rising Scorpio is different than a Scorpio sun. I tell people your rising sign is different than the sun sign. But yes, but being a Scorpio, you have to really look at what else is going on. I don't have fire in my energy. Well, that's a lie. I have two fires. I have a Mars is in Sag and Jupiter's in Aries. That's the only fire I have. The rest is all water energy. So it's a totally different other way of dealing with it, right? There's not a lot of earth in my sign as well. So when things don't move and things aren't moving, it's very difficult to go back and give it that energy again. I can definitely try and do it again, but who's going to show up? Like, that's my whole thing. Is like, is it going, no offense to you guys, because I love you all. Like, is it going to be you guys? And then you're going to say, well, I don't have the money to actually do it. I'm just here to support you. Wonderful. That's great. But it's like, okay, well, I need to buy eggs, or I need to buy coffee, and that support of love and prayers is great, but when you need the other and you're trying to create something and you don't get that feedback, it's a difficult thing. I don't know how else to explain it. you know so that's the whole thing. The people who signed up for my letters from Mama G were people that you don't see. You guys don't even know them. Like, you do not see these people. They are people that were part of my world back in 2010, and when I first came to Calgary, that came out of the woodwork, that are following me and that have always been there. But I'm doing the letters. They're like, "Oh, I'm signing up. I'm subscribing." It was just like, wow, wow. You know, a couple others are people who that they buy bundle readings from me, and they've bought these bundle readings from me for years, right? And those are the people, like, they sort of come out and then come out and support me, and I'm just like, wow, that's awesome, because it's branching out in new ways, right? And that's what I want to do. I want to branch out in new ways. Hence, when I want to be able to create something where, if I go to a Christmas market, I don't want to do readings at the Christmas market. I don't want people to, that could be a part of me, that if it comes up, it comes up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Right. And it's not that I'm saying I'm not doing readings, but I'm just saying I'm bringing in a whole new energy and a whole new direction, and wanting to bring in that new direction and create a foundation that is more um, substantial, kind of thing. Like, today I'm on Facebook Live. The last few times when I've done Instagram, and I got a lot of followers, nobody showed up, right? So, as a business person, you got to look at what's bringing you business and what isn't bringing you business. Why are you going to go back to something that doesn't bring you anything? It's like the auctions. The first couple of years, the auctions went really well, and I thought, okay, let's do it. But by the third and fourth time, the auctions didn't do so well. So, am I going to do auctions again? No, I'm not going to do auctions again, because they don't pay off, or people don't. They buy a reading and they don't use it, right? Or they ask me a year later, did I buy a reading? And I'm just like, holy shit, I don't know, right? I have to go back and look. So, as the energies are changing, this is the thing, is that you have to look at and change with them. People want me to give healings again. No, see? Because it's a lot of energy too. And sometimes they want more than what you're giving. And sometimes it's like, no, I can't do that. Right? I can't do that. Um, I stopped doing healings quite a few years ago, because it's a lot of energy. And plus, then I didn't have a space to do the healings anymore as well. Doing readings online it's nothing. I can do readings online all day. Well, not all day, but I can do readings. So that's the whole premise of it. Too much energy allows more than what I'm giving. I went too deep. Yeah, yeah, you can do that. And it can be a lot too. So that's the whole thing, is like, if you and I'm not going to take on your shit. Oh, come on, take on my shit. You could do that. It is a lot. And if you don't clear yourself properly, then you can get stuff with air issues. Yeah, true. And you can clear the other thing too is like sometimes you can clear it and clear it and clear it and clear it. It can still take a lot from your energy. But that's the whole thing. It's like what direction do I want to take, and that's where this energy is coming in as well. It's like what direction do I want to take? What direction do I want to go into? And that's where letters from Mama G came in, because it gets me to create something. It gets me to um come um and to do something that I really like to do. So I mean, yes, I can do rapid fire readings and everything else to people, and hopefully that works. I'll try that out. But we'll see. But I always have, you can buy me a coffee. So if you want to buy me a coffee, can always help too. What's for breakfast? I don't know. It's some kind of pizza thing. So so I probably won't eat it because I already ate breakfast, but Steve likes to feed you and feed you and feed you. Things changed in 2019. Everyone had something on them. Yeah, and that had to do with the whole espionage bullshit that happened, and all the 5G towers that went up too. Added a lot of extra stuff on people. Yeah, well, that's fine. I got enough love. I don't need any more love. Um, I'm getting too roly poly for the likes of me. Um, so yeah, but today, let me just look. I did other notes. Let me look at my other notes. Oh, did my notes not work? No. Anyways, I think that's it then. Let me see. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. So, anyways, that's fine. But my loves, we'll see. If you want to buy me a coffee, definitely links in the bio. You can buy me a coffee. There's my rapid fire. I will pull a card though. Let's pull a card for today and for the weekend. Do 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 do. Let's pull a card, baby. I need more coffee. Let's see. Ooh, Ace of Swords reversed. So don't overthink things. Mercury's just gone direct. And with the Ace of Swords, information is going to come in, but you got to allow, you can't force things to happen. You can't force the information to come in. You got to allow for things to unfold for you. Yeah. because sometimes you might hold too tight. So holding on to the information too tight or holding on to things tightly isn't allowing for things to happen. So if you're just hanging tightly and you're just in the grips of, of life, and you're not allowing for flow, you're not allowing for things to move, then you're going to find that you can get very stuck or you can get frozen. And that's not where you want to get. You don't want to be frozen. You want to allow for things to move. You want to allow for information to come through. So that means get out, go for a walk, look at things in a different way, move away from the screen, go read a book, put some music on, do something like that. Yeah, because newness is coming in. There are opportunities that are going to come forward for you. There are. It's coming in for you, and this is where things can really change. The three of wands is very much about passion, movement. We are in Leo energy. Leo energy is passion. It is movement. It is allowing you to move forward in new ways, in bright ways. And when you allow yourself to move in this brightness and go forward, then you're going to find that the clarity is going to come in, and you're going to release those bounds that take you. The Four of Pentacles is a hard card. I mean, because it's coming in, but everything is holding, you're holding everything there. And there are places and things that you can do and movements that you can go on to. But if you're not allowing yourself to do that, you won't find that passion. You won't find that. The three is a very um it's a very stable energy. It's a very, concrete energy about movement. And the overall with that, yeah, allow the sun. See, the sun does come in. There is brightness in it all. There is brightness in the movements as we move forward. Allow and embrace the brightness. Allow yourself to embrace the beauty that is around you. When you allow yourself to do that and step into that freedom, Leo season's beautiful. The nodes are changing, people. Just saying. North node is going into Aquarius, South node is going into Leo. It's going to be a lot of fun with these nodal changes coming into these signs. It is really going to get us to look at life in a whole new way and a whole new aspects of what's happening in and around us. And with Jupiter and Leo, it's going to expand a lot of things. Jupiter, I sit on the fence with him. I don't think of him as Santa Claus. I think he's kind of I feel he's kind of manipulative in many ways in doing things, and he's going to promote what is best for his own agenda, not just for you, but what could come out for his outcome as well. So this is where you don't overthink. Know and understand the passion that you want to go towards and move towards that passion. Virgo's slowing down. She's still a Virgo. Venus is in Virgo. She's slowing down and things are going to be moving, right? Leo 12th house, expanded awareness. Oh, South Node in Leo. It's going to be a fun ride. Jupiter's there, and 12th house Leos are, I'm going to say a few of the 12th house Leos that I know, they're having a hell of a time. They're having a hell of a time. And it's not so much outwardly, it's a lot of internal stuff and development that's going on, and a lot of brick walls that are coming in, and they're feeling those brick walls that are coming forth for them. So Leos, and with that opposition with Pluto, I think Leos are going, for the next while, Leos are going to have quite a transitional time with it. And then it squares my Scorpio. So, hey, what's happening to you squares over to me. So a lot of squarings happen on, with that as well. So I'm there with you. I'm there with you, sister. So know that the sun is there. Know that you just have to step out, roll the dice, and step into the newness and not hold everything so tightly. So that could be, go out in the woods and go scream your head off. If that's what it feels like, that's what you need to do. So have a blessed one, everybody. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you. Hey, if you want to buy me a coffee, you can buy me a coffee. Yeah. And we'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye, everybody. See ya.